Hey guys, I realize everyone already knows this, theoretically, but I just want to encourage you again to put it into practice because I just had this amazing little revelation right now, and I'm really thankful, and I want to share this with you guys because I know it'll come in handy since challenges and tough shit happens every day in this physical material plane, or seems to. So I basically had something shitty happen where I accidentally ate my host mom here in Guatemala. I accidentally ate her lunch because it was set out next to mine, and I thought it was all for me. And so I accidentally ate her lunch too, and she came back in to come get it later, and she was clearly upset and didn't seem like there was any. She clearly couldn't understand how I could have thought that it was all for me. And, I was feeling like angry, and then I was guilty and ashamed, and I was on the phone with a friend, but I caught myself. It was good. I was like, when I was on the phone with a friend, instead of going into some kind of story, I was like, it's better to just take the blame and move on. Fine. But the revolution and resolution and revelation that came to me later was I was just sitting here, and when something bad happens to you, you bring it to you for growth. But when something bad seems to happen and you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, like if only I hadn't done that, like if only I hadn't made that mistake, like, or maybe you're beating yourself up, or you're just thinking like, oh, I would feel so much lighter and the day would be so much better if that just hadn't happened. And in that moment, I was like, this is amazing. Like, it really, like, I don't know how else to say it. It actually happened on a level of, and I hope you guys can relate to this, or I hope it happens to you. It really happened on this level of, thank you so much for all the forces and everything that came together for me to do that and see how I still have to grow. And I could suddenly feel like how I had grown from it, that I had realized like I'm still having trouble, when things happen that I don't feel like are my fault. The ego doesn't feel like is my fault. And, just gracefully accepting that and genuinely apologizing and then moving on. And I just really was like, wow, thank you. I said to the light, the energy around me, to the one that we all are, to whatever angels and energy and teachers and guides are watching over me. I was like, thank you so much for bringing me that situation. Like, wow, this is amazing. Now I can, and I don't know if I totally like overcame it, but it's like now I can move on to bigger and better things. But you're going to have to get over that if you're going to be able to do bigger and better things for the world. And this is a challenge that we brought to you to show you, like, where you still are having these like angry, self-righteous sort of emotions and wanting to attack someone, which I did stop myself. So that was good. I think, got somewhere. Anyway, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this, and just, whether you have spiritual teachings you want to relate it to, or whether you want to talk about a revelation that you had. But again, my thing is just like, it's so beautiful, right? When we have those moments of like, oh, I just experienced a spiritual teaching. Because the one that I think most of is Gary Zukov in Seed of the Soul. Again, so many spiritual texts say this, so please share insights. But Gary Zukov, Seed of the Soul, where he's talking about how emotions are our teachers, and how when we have negative emotions come up, it's literally just our soul saying, hey, these are still the parts of you that need to be healed. This is why you came here, to make these parts whole. And it's just so exciting, because it's like, oh man, if I really, like, I'm so glad that happened, because if it hadn't, I wouldn't realize that this is the work that I still have to do and can do. And then it's getting to those higher levels of service so that I can help more souls, like, so that my soul can get whole and healed, so that it can then rise to that level of being more light and help others. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, because I was like, whoa, instead of wishing that it hadn't happened, I actually had that experience of being so thankful that it did. So, as they say in Spanish, poco a poco, little by little. But look forward to hearing from you guys. Love you guys so much. Just wanted to share that very real moment. Mwah.